crash patient, securities convict, Trek patriarch, and a widower who turned grief into an HBO stage. This CHP cast lived harder lives off the freeway. So fire up the bikes and let's get rolling. Number 1. Erik Estrada draws his first breath on March 16, 1949. East Harlem, New York. The neighborhood is concrete and ambition in equal measure. Street corners and stickball, fire escape summers. The kind of childhood that gives you something to fight against. His family doesn't have money. What they have is each other, and the expectation that he'll make something of himself. Erik watches. Erik learns. Erik wants. The acting bug catches him young. Drama classes, auditions that go nowhere. The unglamorous, anonymous grind of becoming somebody when the city doesn't know your name. By the early 70s, he's threading into minor television roles, one small part at a time. He doesn't wait to be discovered. He discovers himself. Then comes CHiPs. 1977, NBC launches a motorcycle cop drama set on the California freeways. The show needs someone who can make a patrol uniform look like an invitation. Erik Estrada steps into the boots of Officer Frank Poncherello, Ponch, and within one season, the show has a star problem. Too much of one. The Ponch grin becomes the marketing department. Fan mail floods in by the truckload. His swagger defines cool law enforcement for an entire decade. But the show nearly destroys him. August 6, 1979. A stunt sequence on location. A crash throws Erik from a 600-pound motorcycle. Fractured ribs, broken wrists, punctured lungs, a cracked sternum. Co-star Larry Wilcox is among those who rush to his side. Production shuts down. The prognosis is grim. Estrada is 30 years old and fighting just to breathe. He makes it back. Months of recovery. The cameras wait. The fans wait. Estrada walks back onto that set. CHiPs runs until 1983. 6 seasons. When the show ends, the industry pivots the way it always does, without looking back. Erik doesn't wait around. He finds a different stage entirely. South. In 1993, he steps into the Mexican telenovela Dos Mujeres, Un Camino, and lights up a whole new continent. The Ponch grin plays just as well in Spanish. In Latin America, he's not nostalgia. He's must-see television. Back in the States, the work keeps shifting shape. The Surreal Life, voice roles on Family Guy, King of the Hill, Celeb 2021. Cameos, guest spots, convention appearances. The man knows his brand and leans into it cleanly. Ponch, slightly grayer, always present. And then he does something nobody expected. He becomes a real cop, reserve police officer in Muncie, Indiana. Later, a sworn reserve officer in St. Anthony, Idaho. Child safety campaigns, real uniforms, real communities. Not for a camera, for the work. The kid from East Harlem who played a cop for 6 seasons decides the badge deserves to be real. Today, Erik is 77 years old. The grin hasn't moved an inch. From the stickball courts of East Harlem to the sun-soaked freeways of California, and from a TV badge to a real one, Ponch always was more than a character. Number 2. San Diego, California. August 8, 1947. Larry Wilcox enters the world. He doesn't stay a California kid for long. By his late teens, he enlists in the Marine Corps. He serves during the Vietnam era. Not the desk kind of service, but the kind that shapes a man. The discipline sticks. The code holds. Before Hollywood comes calling, he's already learned one thing. Follow the rules, hold the line, and don't blink. The 1970s find him grinding through small parts, guest roles, the forgettable work of a working actor making his way. Then everything shifts. In 1977, NBC greenlights CHiPs, a two-man California Highway Patrol series, part cop show, part travelogue, all California sunshine and chrome. Producers need a co-lead, the steady one, the grounded half, the foil who makes the flashier partner pop. Wilcox gets the call. Officer Jonathan Baker, the straight arrow half of the most famous motorcycle duo on American television. Baker and Ponch click. Oil and water on motorcycles. Impossible to look away. CHiPs becomes a Sunday night institution. 5 full seasons, riding into the living rooms of a generation. Letters arrive by the stack. Action figures hit toy shelves. The show becomes one of the biggest primetime hits on television. Then the crack show. By season 5, the off-screen partnership is strained as badly as any overheated patrol shift. In 1979, Estrada is thrown from a motorcycle on set, a serious crash. Wilcox reportedly moves fast, helps get aid to his co-star. Years later, Wilcox would say the gratitude ran dry. He'd claim Estrada helped push him off the show before season 6. Baker rides off at the end of season 5. The Straight Arrows badge gets pulled. He doesn't disappear. The Dirty Dozen, the next mission, in 1985. Guest work on MacGyver. A self-aware cameo on 30 Rock, decades later. Wilcox also builds Wilcox Productions, running business ventures on the side. Always working, always moving. And in 1999, he pulls the uniform back on for the reunion movie, Baker and Ponch. One last ride down the Ventura Freeway. Off-screen, a harder chapter. In 2010, the SEC charges Wilcox in a penny stock kickback case. He pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit securities fraud. Probation, community service. The man who played California's most honest cop walks a very different kind of line for a while. At 78, Larry is still in the mix. Podcasts, nostalgia conventions, guest appearances. The CHiPs fan base never quite lets go. And Wilcox never quite lets go of it either. San Diego to the Ventura Freeway, and back again. The straight arrow bent once, held firm, and at 78, he's still out there on the highway. Number 3. Robert Pine is born in 1941. The country is at war, and television is barely a decade old. Hollywood is already rewriting itself. Robert files it away. He doesn't arrive with a breakout moment. He arrives with something rarer: patience. Through the 1960s and 70s, he works steadily. Guest spots on every drama that will have him. Supporting parts in films. Soap appearances. A voice that registers as authority before a single line is delivered. The slow, unglamorous construction of a working actor's career. The kind of history that impresses casting directors and no one at parties. In 1977, CHiPs begins. Robert lands the role of Sergeant Joseph, the desk authority, the radio room voice, the man who briefs the patrol duo before they roar out onto the California freeway. The sergeant isn't the guy on the motorcycle. He is the reason the motorcycles go in the right direction. He is the show's institutional memory. For 6 full seasons, Robert is the spine no one talks about. But the casting note buried in the credits is the real story. His wife, off-screen, actress Gwen Guilford, plays Betty. His wife on screen, same house off camera, same dinner table, same last name. The producers cast a real couple to play a fictional couple and never made a thing of it. One version of the marriage ran until the cameras shut off. The other one kept running. CHiPs wraps in 1983. Pine doesn't pause. He turns up in Independence Day in 1996. The Princess Diaries 2 in 2004. flashback appearances in the rebooted Magnum PI, episodes of Jag, a role in the prestige drama 5 Days at Memorial, decades later, voice work, soap credits. The guest list spans 4 decades without a visible gap. And then there's the son, Chris Pine, the one who becomes Captain Kirk in Star Trek. Not the original, but the Kelvin-era commander of the Enterprise. The parallels are almost cinematic. One Pine patriarch keeps order on California highways. Another keeps order across star systems. Robert had Ponch and John. Chris has the whole galaxy. Same commanding voice. The Pines don't aim low. Convention circuits, fan events, CHiPs cast reunions. A presence that hasn't dimmed. Robert Pine is 84 years old in 2026, and the calendar tells a different story than the schedule. Still the sergeant standing at the front of the room. Still holding the line, even if the line now runs from Pacific Coast Highway to the bridge of the Enterprise. Number 4. Before Officer Jeb Turner, there's Michael Dorn. Born in 1952, he grows up in Lubbock, Texas, and later settles in Pasadena, California. He studies at Pasadena City College, picks up the acting bug early, and spends the late 70s grinding through bit parts and guest spots on shows that don't remember his name. He remembers theirs. Then, CHiPs changes the math. From 1979 to 1982, Dorn plays Officer Jebediah Turner, Jeb, a recurring California Highway Patrol officer alongside Ponch and John. Sunglasses, badge, open blacktop. Not the top of the call sheet, but a face the audience starts to recognize and trust. 3 years is long enough to matter. Then the show wraps, and Dorn starts thinking bigger. In 1987, he lands Worf on The Next Generation. The makeup takes 4 hours every single day. Forehead ridges, a Klingon warrior code, a sash that looks ceremonial and weighs accordingly. Dorn plays it completely straight. No winking at the camera, no ironic distance. Just barely contained fury, fierce loyalty, and a voice that could stop a room. Exactly the combination that makes it work. 7 seasons of The Next Generation. Then Deep Space Nine, running concurrently, doubling the workload, tripling the makeup chair hours. 4 TNG films. A role in the 6th film. Decades later, Worf returns on Picard. By any count, Worf logs more appearances across Star Trek than any other character in franchise history. More than the captains. More than anyone. Away from the franchise, Dorn builds a steady voice career. Gargoyles, DC animated projects, I Am Weasel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Invincible. The characters change. The weight of that voice stays exactly the same. Casting directors know what they're getting. They keep calling. One thing most fans never knew. Dorn is a licensed pilot, not a weekend hobbyist with a Cessna. He's owned jet aircraft. The Klingon warrior who swore by honor codes navigates by altimeter 2. Today, Michael is 73 years old and still finding new corners of the Star Trek universe to inhabit. From the California Freeway to the Klingon High Council, Officer Jeb Turner never saw that orbit coming. Number 5. Randy Oakes arrives in 1951. Long before she straps on a CHP badge, she's working the other kind of camera. Modeling first, magazine spreads, commercial work. Then television comes calling, and she doesn't hesitate. The late 70s are good to her. Battlestar Galactica, Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, Barnaby Jones. She moves through the guest star circuit with ease, poised, photogenic, exactly the face primetime television was hungry for. Producers keep calling. Randy keeps showing up. In 1979, Bonnie Clark walks into her life, a CHP uniform on primetime television. One of the very few women in a CHP uniform on primetime network television. For 3 seasons, she rides alongside the 2 leads, camera ready, badge on, every inch their equal. She gives Bonnie Clark a quiet competence the role didn't always demand, and the audience didn't miss it. Then comes Battle of the Network Stars. Obstacle courses. Celebrity relays. Not quite the venue you'd expect for a love story. Except Randy meets Gregory Harrison there, a working TV star in his own right running the same circuit she's on. The two fall for each other quietly. They marry in 1980. For years, almost no one outside their circle knows. By 1982, CHiPs is behind her. Motherhood arrives, then a second child. She doesn't agonize over the decision. Harrison keeps working. Randy builds a home. The Hollywood freeway fades in the rear view, and Oregon takes its place. At 74, Randy Oakes is still in the Pacific Northwest, still with Harrison, still out of the frame. A life built quietly and deliberately, far from the spotlights that once chased her. CHiPs fans who remember Bonnie Clark haven't forgotten. Randy Oakes arrived with a camera pointed at her. She left when she found one she could point herself. Oregon, Harrison, 2 kids, and no regrets. That's the whole story. Number 6. San Francisco, California, 1948. Paul Linke is born. From the beginning, it's the stage that has him. Not the camera, the stage. Linke builds himself as a theater artist from the ground up. Writer, performer, director. He spends years on both sides of the footlights, learning how to hold a room, how to find something real inside a script. Hollywood is not the plan. Hollywood just eventually catches up. In 1977, he joins CHiPs as Officer Arthur Grossman, arty to his colleagues, grossy to everyone else. Not the lead, not the marquee name, but a face you recognize every single week at the station. Dependable, lived in, exactly where he needs to be. He holds down the supporting unit for 6 seasons, while Ponch and John take all the glory. After the show wraps, the roles keep coming. Motel Hell, Parenthood, Hooperman, K-Pax. He teams with Charles Nelson Reilly on The Life of Riley, 2 theater veterans with something to say. Then 1986 arrives. His wife, Francesca Draper, dies of breast cancer. The widower doesn't retreat. He does the theater thing. He makes something out of it. The whole experience, the diagnosis, the fear, the grief, becomes a one-man show called Time Flies When You're Alive. HBO films it. A private wound, opened in front of an audience, becomes something people carry out into the parking lot. Guest appearances, stage work, writing projects. Paul Linke, now 78, keeps making things. Still writing, still performing. The man who turned a private wound into an HBO stage hasn't found a reason to close the curtain yet. Number 7. Brody Greer is born in 1949. He comes up athletic, San Jose State, college football, the kind of background that builds a certain toughness. Not the obvious path to Hollywood. But Hollywood doesn't always take the obvious path. By the mid-70s, Greer is making the rounds. Guest spots, small television roles, building the credits line by line. Then 1977 hits. CHiPs hits with it. He plays Officer Barry Bear Barixa. Not the name on the poster. Not the guy hogging the camera. Bear is the backbone. The steady, no-nonsense CHP officer in the background, while Baker and Poncherello grab the headlines. Season after season, Greer shows up, does the work, holds the line. That's what supporting players do. The good ones, anyway. When the show finally ends, he stays in the game a little longer. A handful of television guest spots. A return visit to the CHiPs universe years down the line. Then the credits thin out. The real second act comes next. He trades the patrol car for a whistle. Carmel, California. High school volleyball coach. The same patience that made Bear a long-haul TV fixture now runs drills and calls rotations for teenage athletes. Today, Brody is 76 years old, still in Carmel, running drills, calling rotations, watching kids get better season by season. The guy who spent years policing California freeways on TV, turns out he was always better suited for a gym. And the kids in Carmel are the better for it. Number 8. Before Harlan Arliss ever touched a wrench on the CHiPs lot, there's Lou Wagner, character actor. A familiar face that studios keep calling back, decade after decade, show after show. In 1968, he walks into a role that never lets go. Lucius, the young chimpanzee aide in Planet of the Apes. Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowell. Wagner right there in the makeup chair, buried in prosthetics, holding the scene. The film becomes a cultural landmark. He becomes part of its mythology. The 70s brings steady work, guest spots, supporting roles across genre and sitcom, a television career quietly building. Then, CHiPs. Wagner steps into the garage as Harlan Arliss, the mechanic who keeps Ponch and John's motorcycles on the road and the squad bay loose. Comic relief. The guy with grease on his hands and a grin always ready to go. After CHiPs wraps, the credits keep stacking. The Golden Girls, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, My Name is Earl, Raising Hope, The Millers. 3 decades of working television, spanning science fiction, comedy, and drama. He never stops showing up. Lou Wagner is still part of the story. Lucius to Harlan to 3 Starfleet corridors, apes, makeup, to motorcycle grease, to photon torpedoes. The character man who outlasted every franchise he walked through. Number 9. Today, Clarence Gilliard Jr. would be 70 years old. But rewind to 1982. He arrives on CHiPs in its 6th and final season as Officer Benjamin Webster. 20 episodes, a late entrance on a show already winding down. But Clarence doesn't need more time. He needs one open door. 1986. Top Gun. He plays Sundown. 1988. Die Hard. He's Theo, the hacker who nearly brings down Nakatomi Plaza. 2 films, 2 pop culture touchstones. Hollywood can't look away. Then, Matlock. Conrad McMasters. Then Walker, Texas Ranger. 8 seasons as Jimmy Trivette, Chuck Norris's right hand. The freeway cop becomes one of the most recognizable sidekicks in 90s action television. Then The Classroom. Clarence steps away from the screen and joins UNLV as a professor of film and theater. The actor becomes the teacher. November 28, 2022. Clarence Gilliard Jr. passes after a long illness. He's 66. Officer Webster joined the Highway Patrol for one final season. Clarence Gilliard ended up a professor, teaching the next generation how to do what he did so well.